welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I am Jen.
Amanda.
Kathleen.
And we're the team behind Yarnia. This is a podcast all about knitting and crocheting and things you can do with yarn and fiber and all that kind of fun stuff.
And occasionally embroidery and stuff like that.
Occasionally embroidery, occasionally other things. Yeah. Take your pick.
But mostly knitting and crochet.
Mostly knitting and crochet.
Yarn and ways to play with yarn. Like tools you can play with yarn, which we will talk about later. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back.
Oh my goodness. Teddy, this week, I should have taken a picture or a little video. He was so cute. He had one piece of yarn and he wrapped it around himself and he's like, I made a sweater.
Oh, and you're like, yes, baby, you did.
I wish you got a video of that.
I know.
He's the cutest.
So cute.
That is kiddo.
I love that. That's awesome.
I'm gonna make myself a new yarn bowl, so
the DIY yarn bowl out of a bag.
Just so my yarn's not on the floor.
Yes. Sometimes you just need to like keep it corralled.
Yeah,
exactly. I need to stop knitting on this because I don't know where the toe is supposed to go, and that would be very annoying to knit past and have to rip
out.
That's true.
And I just thought about something that I left at home.
Oh no.
Shoot. Oh well, not a biggie. Not a biggie. So shall we guess what episode number it is?
Oh, yes. 125.
Lower.
123.
Yes.
Yay! Again, my MO is like...
I learned not to just go down by one.
Don't go down by one. Well, go down by two.
But also, probably, if I'm like, no, like, you can kind of tell it's really close.
You're like,
I kind of give it away with my voice a little bit.
You're like, almost there.
So it's 1, 2, 3, which I love. I love, like, any kind of fun number things, especially numeric palindromes.
Before, right?
I'm sure we
I
have.
think we have.
Because we're such geeky math girls.
I'm sure I did. When Teddy was born.
Yes, he has the best birthday.
He has the best birthday. He's... What? No, wait. I always get him and Catherine confused because they're very similar. Catherine's is 122001.
Oh.
And his is 120120.
Oh.
Which is so cool.
Which is great. And I was really concerned he was going to be born on December 30th. Or
and you're
November
like,
30th.
You're going to screw
or
it up.
31st. How many days does November have?
30.
30. Yeah. I was really hoping.
And that's when you're like...
Keeping my knees together.
Keeping my knees
together.
together.
Until I hit the birthday you want. Right? That's the way to go.
Because we have choice over these things, right?
I mean, if you have to, I have, so there's, I always call it the Big Book of Birthdays. That's not what it's actually called.
Oh.
It was published by Penguin years ago. And so I got it at like the Penguin discount, but like everyone at Penguin had a copy of it because it might as well be the Big Book of Birthdays. But it's basically got a spread for, like, so 2 pages for every single day of the year. And it's like, pulls from like astrology and like numerology and like various different types of astrology, so it gives you like a full profile of like people born on this day. And inevitably anytime anyone we knew, I worked with mostly women, anyone had like a scheduled C-section, we'd be like,
helping them pick the day.
Get out the book. And be like, okay,
That's funny.
Is it this day or is it this day? And you're like, ooh, what about this? What about this?
So it has, does it have like famous people born on different days?
Yeah,
too,
it also has like a little sidebar that says like, these are the people born on this day. But it also like gives you like, you know, you're born on this day and it's like the day of the dreamer.
I wonder what my day is.
Super.
I bet Irene probably has.
I know, I have to bring it. It's in our bathroom. It's like the perfect bathroom book.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It is, I'm tangled. It really is like the perfect, it's in our powder room, and every so often I like bust it out and I'd be like, all right, everybody, this is what we're doing today. Yeah, it's very entertaining. I'm all tangled with the mohair. Okay, we're gonna...
Oh, what are you working? Oh, yeah, I know what you're working on.
I know.
You're making it. Cool.
Let's talk about what's going on around town while I finish untangling my drama. What's going on around town, folks?
So the first thing going on around town is that today, the day that this comes out, is the Knit for Food Knit-a-thon.
Yeah, that's right. We've been waiting so long.
Yes. And thank you to those who have contributed. If you haven't contributed yet and you would like to,
Today's
still
the last day. So if you're watching
it does cut off
on Saturday.
Yeah.
The link is right here. I'm putting a QR on the screen this time.
There you go. You can scan your QR with your phone on the screen if you like, and that is the easiest way to do it. We've got some of those in the store as well.
Yep.
That people have been using.
Yep. And we have a goal for Team Yarnia of $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And last time I looked, we were about halfway there.
We're about halfway there.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think, donations always speed up towards the end. So
normally.
I'm
Yeah,
really
for sure.
Optimistic, especially with everybody that's going to be sitting in here on Saturday, that we're going to hit our goal. So help us, please. That would be.
And we have heard from a local knitting celeb that might stop by and join us for a bit during the day. We won't say who, but you may be lucky and meet.
Yep.
Him or her.
Right. And we also have my friend Kathy coming over from Montclair just after the store, like the shopping part of the store, although I'm probably going to keep the register on.
Yeah, we won't.
To be fair, if anybody needs a darning needle after 5, that's okay.
Yeah.
But coming to do some in-person stretching exercises.
Yay.
And maybe a little hand massage for folks who have been knitting since 10 in the morning.
Yep.
Which I think is also just a great thing to if you're local, pop, and you're watching this early in the day, pop in for that, because I feel like, this is a physical activity. And you got to take care of your joints.
And also, it's one that is mostly done seated, and I think, a lot of times if you are sitting, it's so easy to sit for, more than an hour and not think about it. And then...
Oh, yeah.
And the older you get, the more you notice it when you've been sitting more than an hour.
Oh, my goodness. Did you know? Was it a TED podcast? Like a TED Talks podcast? The TED Radio Hour. There was one on, they did I think it was TED, and if it wasn't, I'm going to link it below. They did one on... They did a study in conjunction with one of the big universities. Had thousands of people check their blood pressure and then go through 3 or 4 weeks of getting up to walk. Some did every hour, some did every half hour, and how much it affected your blood sugar.
Yeah,
interesting.
A lot.
It's remarkable how much getting up and moving.
Yeah, just even a little bit of movement. Yeah. It doesn't need to be a lot of movement.
Yeah. And actually, it's more impactful than exercising twice a week to just get up and move every half hour.
Wow. Yeah. That's a really good tip.
Get up, walk around.
It's good, and it's frustrating for those of us who go to the gym. It's
you're why am I going?
Why am I doing this?
No,
especially.
I totally get that. And it's also, I have a tendency, I am hypermobile, so a lot of my joints, it is very uncomfortable for me to sit up like a normal person. To sit
up straight.
Sit up straight, feet on the floor. The way I'm sitting now, and my posture is terrible, it's very uncomfortable. And I have to, and it's terrible for my joints to sit the way that I would prefer to sit, which is basically sprawled all every which way, and angled, and a leg up, and corn. But it's one of those things where it's if you don't sit the right way, it will lead to worse problems. And then you're why is my lower back so jacked up? And it's because I'm sitting like a freaking pretzel.
Well, and also you actually have to engage your core when you're sitting. Actively engage your abs, which most of us don't do. Especially, I have to say, if you had babies.
Oh, God.
And you lose your abs. You totally cannot contract your abs when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back again, it's you very much get out of the habit of doing that.
Yeah.
So practicing using your abs, even when you're sitting, right? Everybody, take your abs and contract them.
Sit up straight. It does. When you sit up straight, that is part of sitting up straight. Absolutely.
Abs,
I definitely was not sitting up straight.
I never sit up straight. What I need,
it's really hard.
What I've seen is that basically, I need a strap around my knees. Right? Because that'll, instead of my legs splaying out like this and my hips going really wide, something to resist against.
Wow.
But it looks weird when you're walking around and then you're like sitting down. You're like, here's a strap around my knee. It's not like, on the couch, it's better if I like prop myself with pillows on either side, so I don't end up with like one leg over the edge and the other tucked under me and bent like a weirdo pretzel. But yeah, so like ergonomics, people.
Yeah,
ergonomics.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like if you're not used to having or sitting with good posture, it actually is tiring to do that because you're using muscles that you haven't used before. Yeah. Just like when you start knitting or crochet, right? You're using muscles in your hands you haven't used before.
Or in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it just takes time. So be kind to yourself.
Yeah,
and just try practicing, a few minutes every day. Say, I'm going to sit with good posture 10 minutes a day. Yeah. And then the next week, 15 minutes a day. And then the next week, 20 minutes, right? Like, build up over time.
Yep.
Yeah,
small
steps. But I do think also it's like knitting ergonomically, so it's like you don't have your stuff up at your face.
Yep.
Shoulders down,
shoulders back.
It's so funny. This is like decades ago, but I still have my knitting posture from knitting on the subway. My elbows tucked in. Yeah. I always knit like this because, like, if you're knitting on the subway in New York,
and you have
you
your
do
elbows
not want to be. You're not going to be.
You don't want to be like. Sorry, Kathleen.
It's okay. No, but it's like not a way to be.
No,
and your
computer
back
friendly.
You so like engage your muscles across your shoulder blades to bring your shoulder blades in across your back. That brings your shoulders back and keeps them from being up.
Yeah.
Anyway. So all
it's like tips from the dancer.
Well, yeah,
but
it's also
true.
The same thing. But when we're dancing, we have to keep our shoulder blades engaged down and back.
Well, I was going to say,
you see it so much in the posture.
My cousin is a former ballet dancer, like a professional ballet dancer, and still has the absolute best posture of anyone I've ever met. Mm-hmm. Where I'm just like, you can tell you've been, doing ballet.
Well, that's like my friend Lisa. Even walking her dog, you can see her amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What else do we have going on? Knit for Food's a big one. And then, Wool Walk is coming up.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see my note or did you just think of it?
No, I just thought of it.
Right.
Do you have a note?
I do have a note.
Awesome. All right. So the New Jersey Wool Walk is April 17th through 21st. That's Wednesday through Sunday?
Yeah.
Wednesday to Sunday. So good chunk of time for everyone to go hit all of the yarn stores participating. How many are participating this year?
22 this year.
Whoa, that's a lot.
22. I think it was 21 last year.
That's awesome.
Maybe 20. Yeah, there were a couple. There was at least one that didn't rejoin this year, but then a couple of new ones, I believe. So,
it's always fun to go see the new stores.
Yeah.
Just check things out, see what's different in different places. And actually, even if you're not local, this year, I'm on the leadership team this year because I'm crazy.
You were bored.
No. That's what I
didn't have enough going on.
A lot of people say I'm bored. I've never said I'm bored. I always have more things to do than I want to do.
Oh, totally.
Always. I know, but it's so. It always baffles me when people say they're bored.
That's my retirement goal.
No, I still don't ever really want to be bored. I don't. I love being busy and doing things. Anyway,
I feel like I can be so much more creative
when you have time.
When you're bored.
I guess.
A little bit.
But also,
my
mind wanders when if I'm knitting or crocheting and I'm not listening to an audiobook or something, that is creative time too.
Yeah.
Because I never do only one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
on the leadership
so
board.
I've volunteered to help with prize solicitations. So so that has been fun to be working with the other people who've been leading it for a while. And one of the things, Irina, who is one of the co-heads this year.
And she's the proprietress of
the local yarn store in South Orange. She has gone to most of the other stores and done a video in the store. So you get a feel for the store even before you go. And she did ask if people could do their own videos to do it. So I did our video. But, well, whatever. I mean,
sure.
We're used to videoing things. It's definitely part of what we do a lot. So
it is in our wheelhouse.
It is in our wheelhouse, exactly. So, but, you can follow the NJ Wool Walk on Instagram or Facebook and see those videos because it really is kind of fun.
Very cool.
So Balzac was yesterday, and today is Beyond Yarn and Union.
Oh, nice.
So it's really fun. You get a little peek at all the different stores, so get a feel for their personality even before you step in the door. And a lot of stores have special hours for the Wool Walk. We do as well. So the basic hours are 10 to 6 Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I believe, and then 11 to 5 on Sunday. Don't quote me. Amanda will put the link where you can actually see the official thing.
Yes. I'll put the link to our page, which is hidden as at the time of taping, but will be activated by the time.
Yeah.
By the time you see this.
By the time you see this. And should we put a link to the whole, we'll put a link to the whole website as well. And because
plan your trip.
A lot of stores have different hours. Some, a fair number of stores just have the basic hours, but it just will help you exactly plan what you want to hit in what order and all of that. So so that is all coming up very soon. We have our passports already. That's the other thing I was going to grab. Have our passports. Shall I send you a picture?
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of the passport.
Passports are for sale now. As well as you can get them during the walk too.
Yes, you don't need your passport in advance, but
if you aren't going to be able to go out the first day, stores do run out of the passport.
That is true.
Though this year everyone's got a lot. We made sure.
That's good. Some prior years.
You're welcome. Yeah, that was me. Former, managing printing. It is so inexpensive to print another 500. The expensive part is printing the first 500. So just don't scrimp out on it. It literally is pennies.
Well, and we don't want anyone to run out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want.
So they have held back a bunch so that if any store is running out, and also most stores have a store within a short distance of them.
Yeah.
We were one of the stores that we ran out one year, like one of our first years we did run out, but we've definitely addressed that. So
good.
There also is a collectible that we are doing that is available for pre-sale, and it's really cute. We are doing stitch markers for every store. Again, this year it's a new design, super cute. It's got the state of New Jersey on it, and then every store has a color. Yeah. And as you might guess, we are orange as usual. So those are really cute. But the collectible it's kind of like a kilt pin, but it's got a little dangle on it that has the year on it and the New Jersey Wool Walk sheep. So you can collect all your stitch markers. Yeah, I thought it was very clever. I forget who came up with that, but it was a great idea.
Brilliant idea.
So every store is only getting 40 of those. Those we definitely will sell out of.
And for sure. So pre-order.
We normally we will get those for our staff as well because they don't have time to be out walking because they're here in the store helping all of you.
Yeah. Does the pen have a loop on the end, or is it like a round?
It does have a loop. Why?
Because we have space on the bag to put a pen, but if it has a loop, it won't go through.
It won't go through.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unless it's a small enough loop.
It actually might be. Or it may be a big enough pin. It might actually
be if it's a long enough pin.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. We'll find out. Exactly. So
I love my Jelly Q bag.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know that already.
I know. We actually have to get more of the blue ones. We are sold out of the blue in that style, but we have more red and more mustard.
Oh, my list.
Nice. So the walk is going to be fun. What's our late night that week?
We are doing late night both Wednesday and Friday. We're going to be open to 7 both Wednesday and Friday.
Okay.
No in-person knit night that night, though. Okay. Are we going to do our quiz, do we think?
I don't think I'm going to do a quiz. I think I'm going to do another game, though, because to do a quiz, I have to think
of 30
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of questions.
And it's,
Even with a lot of help from your friends, it's still a lot of work.
Run out of topics.
Yeah.
A game would be fun.
But I'm going to think of a game.
Okay, cool.
To do.
So we will make sure that there is a link. Oh, actually, did you see my note?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There will also be a link.
There'll be a link on our calendar to get the link for our online knit night that night.
Yes.
And every knit night. So every Wednesday.
Which is awesome. So if you're local, our knit nights are Wednesdays from 6 to 8 in store. But if you are not local, but still want to hang out and do something on Wednesday evenings, join us on our online knit night, which is held on Zoom from 7 to 9 or later, depending on...
Because Amanda's train gets into town at 6:15.
Right. So there you go. Well, no, I mean oftentimes the
it'll run
standard
after 9.
crew of Wednesday knit night ladies will.
We're still chatting.
Keep it chatting.
Yes. That's true.
Which is awesome if you are farther afield or like, I can't always. Well, now I'm driving around all of Tarnation on Wednesdays, but like previously, I couldn't always leave on Wednesday to be in person, but I could join online.
Yeah, it's nice. We have a good core group, and then folks from the podcast hop in all the time.
Yeah, which is great.
Fun.
And same in store. If you're ever in the area, we have we've had 20 people most of the time lately. It's been so nice and busy. We push the table back. We put the chairs in a big circle. We just keep expanding the circle to fit everybody. And some people come right at 6 and have to leave by 7. Some people come at 7. We even have somebody who, comes around 7:30.
Yeah.
Because that's as soon as she can make it.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's good to pop in and have this kind of community, right? Like, don't be... It's so funny because, like, even though I'm super extroverted, it's like... And I was talking about this with one of the attendees at our Craft or Gamer Geek trunk show this past week. But it's like, fine once I get there. Right? It's getting there is hard. Yep. And then also sometimes it's like if there's already a conversation going on, not a problem. I can hop into a conversation. Starting the conversation can be tricky. But like...
Yeah. And so, we have some regulars, but they're rotating, and then we always have new people.
Yeah.
And they always feel welcome because they always are welcome.
It's a welcoming group.
So it's totally a welcoming group. I love it. One of the things we always do is we go around the circle at a certain point and everyone introduces themselves and talks about their project and all of that. And I just love that. And
that's so nice.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's so good. So yeah, if you're ever in the area, do stop by Wednesday from 6 to 8 in the store.
Cool. Should we hop to, do we have anything else going
those
on
are
around
the
town?
two things
I think those are big
on
things,
my mind.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, I was going to say, I also have spring break coming up, but like, not for a while yet. But pre-Wool.
But it's before Wool Walk, right?
It's before Wool Walk. I think it's like the week before Wool Walk.
Oh.
So I got to get my act together.
We're going to San Francisco for spring break.
That's where Haley is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right now.
Not for permanent. Not during my spring break, right? Which is after Easter.
Yeah.
But I need to know what yarn stores to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you know what Nitty Natty just did? The Bay Area yarn
that's
crawl.
true.
Yeah,
yes.
I sent a link to Haley.
There's some really nice ones.
There are some really nice ones, and there are some that aren't as special. So there was one that she visited that was a little underwhelming.
Okay.
So we'll let you know that one to avoid. But there are some really good ones.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
No, but I figure I probably only can visit. There's going to be 8 of us. Okay. So it's not like I can.
A lot of time.
I'm not doing a yarn crawl in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Not with 8 carriers on.
Watch Nitty Natty's video too. I bet you'll get some really good pointers on that.
Yeah.
One place that's in the Bay Area is Dharma Trading, and that's where a lot of dyers get their dyes from.
Oh,
so that
they have fantastic
that could be really
dyes.
fun to check out.
I
was going to
blanks to dye, like if you're looking for like fabric things or tie dye, or they're like a gold standard expert.
Yeah. I might check that out. So Friday, actually, so it's my oldest daughter, adult, au pair, adult, me and Chad, and then the 4 little kids. So 4 adults and 4 children.
Okay.
Friday, I'm part of a wine club. I have been since like 2018. Acme, which is spectacular. I'll also put a link down below. It's 3 bottles a month, which is completely doable. I've been in other ones that you get like too much.
Yeah. 3 a month sounds really nice.
3 a month is great.
Yeah.
And they're all like spectacular. I've literally never had something from them that I'm like, whatever.
That's great. I assume you're going to put the link below.
I will put the link below.
I will check it out.
And if you really love it, you can order a case or a half case or whatever, which we do sometimes, because they also come at different price points. Like, so, definitely affordable. Options are in there that are delicious.
That's
You'd
great.
never find at a wine store. But anyway, so as a club member, when you go to San Fran, you can book a tasting at their studio, like it's their distributor. So it's not just one shop, or it's not just one vineyard. So Chad and I are going for a tasting. It's 10 in the morning, so we're leaving the children with the other adults that we're traveling with. Like, we're paying for your flights and all your food and your housing. They have to watch the little kids for the morning, which we're staying near the Golden Gate Park.
Yeah, that's a
so I said, just go play Pokemon in the park for.
Or the Imaginarium.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, I love that place. That's really nice.
So cool.
So anyway, that's our spring break. There's family out there on Chad's side, so we're gonna do a little bit of the family thing. Go do some wine tasting, he and I, on Friday during the day, and we're going to a Giants game on Saturday night.
Fun, yeah, really.
So that's our spring break.
Cool.
Coming up.
Cool. I was gonna say we're going Universal and Disney. Wish me luck. But I need it.
If anybody's in the Bay Area, maybe you must meet up at a Yarn Star.
There you go.
Good idea.
There you go.
So yeah, maybe when we're driving back, because we're getting a zip car. Maybe when we're coming back on that Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Probably is timing wise, but it'll be
easiest to fit something in.
Ready for finished objects?
Yes, we're ready for finished objects.
All right.
We've exhausted.
I think we've exhausted our chit chat. We haven't though. We'll continue.
I know.
Chit chat.
We've exhausted my editing time available.
There we go. That's what we say.
There you go.
All right. Let's start with finished objects. Kathleen.
I have a finished object. Yay! I am wearing it. It is my Fullerton Vest, designed by our fabulous Amanda, and I really love it.
That's so pretty. It's so pretty.
I'm so excited. I got to finally work with some floof.
It's your floof.
How'd you like it? I know last time you said it was a little...
I love the finished product. I didn't love... I'm just so not used to working with it.
Yeah.
It does have slightly different... it has more challenges, I would say, than working with a, regular plied yarn.
Yeah.
I also do want to make another one, and I think I would do a boucle for that, because I'm a little bit more used to working with a boucle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fun.
It's so cute.
Thank you. I used Tosh Sock in Urbane for my ribbing and main color.
Great color.
And then I actually should have brought some of my extras. So this is Urbane. This is the color that I used for the ribbing, and it's the main color. I originally had been thinking about using this kind of more kind of terracotta color of Cash Silk Light, but it was really low contrast, and I felt like if I was doing all that work with dip stitches, I wanted to be able to see it a little bit more.
Show it off.
So I switched to this, which also really worked nicely with the Urbane, and I really love it. So
I'll pick up the yarn just so you can see the contrast.
It looks great.
So I'm still I was one of the test knitters for Amanda, so I have put my amounts that I used on your copy, so you can see they definitely fell within your recommendations.
Good.
So that's always nice. Actually, I almost
mapping for the web.
Yeah, I almost had enough, and with 10% too. It included 10%. And
Jen.
The yarn requirements. I was like, I know conceptually how to do it, but I was like, but left it to you.
So I only used about 20 grams of my second skein, and I made the fourth of 5 sizes. So yesterday, this was what I forgot. Yesterday, I had Seisha crank the rest of it into a sock tube. So I'm gonna make socks for Jean.
I love it. You can twin.
He does love his handmade or non-commercial socks, because they're not completely handmade if they're mostly clever.
Well, they're still hand cranked.
Semi-handmade.
They are hand
cranked for sure.
It's just teamwork.
Teamwork with Clementine. So I said, let me, instead of just putting this in my stash as like most of a skein, let's just go ahead and crank it right now, and then next time I'm ready to do some socks, I've got it ready to go.
I love it.
So I was really.
I was
pleased that I actually thought of that in time to implement it. So I did.
Well, I just realized we should also talk the Fullerton Vest. So it's still in testing now.
Yep.
But
it's Presca done. Almost done.
I was going to say, what's Presca done?
Me too.
I've been doing my Duolingo French.
Oh, so she's like, there we go.
I didn't get
I was like,
what?
I'm not fancy. Kim is going to run a class at the Fullerton Vest, both in person and on Zoom. So the in-person class will be on Sundays.
Yep.
And the Zoom class will be, I think, Tuesday evenings?
Tuesday evenings, exactly.
Tuesday evenings. So those are up on the website now.
Yeah.
So this way Amanda does not need to run a multi-session workshop.
We're all grateful
officially
in her spare time.
It's officially a class.
In her non-existent spare time.
And Kim will be running it. I do not remember the dates, but you can go check it out at the link below. So if you also want to make a Fullerton and maybe are like, I'm not sure about the texture, how am I going to do it? Or need some hand holding, or maybe it's your first garment. Check out the class. It's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And, sometimes people just like the accountability of working on it with other people.
Oh, absolutely. It keeps you on track.
Keeps you on track. Make sure you kind of get it done in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. That's the thing. And you always just learn different things and techniques when an experienced instructor is teaching it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not that, the pattern is, I think, quite comprehensive.
It is. It definitely is.
But yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice to, and especially depending on people's experience level. You know, it's like, it is all spelled out, but if somebody's really a newer knitter or just has been doing more hats and scarves and things, and now they're ready to branch out into a garment, it is always nice to have an instructor help you with that. So, and I was so excited when Kim was thinking about doing it both in store and on Zoom. Well, first she couldn't decide which to do, and we were kind of joking around. I was like, how about both? How about both? It's like sometimes the joking around actually results in a good idea. Right? For sure.
It totally does. It totally does.
Kim is here with us on Thursdays while we're teaching intermediate. She is the person helping everyone with shopping. So we get to chit chat with her some, which is always fun.
Exactly. And work things out that way. There we go. I was tangled. Do you have any other finished objects?
I do not. I thought I would have another. I'm still working on it. It's going to be more finished by the time we get back to WIP.
It'll be
still not finished.
By the time we hit there.
It's okay.
I have no finished objects other than what I'm wearing, which is my hair out of my way. My steeped throwback cardigan in Lucky Tweed.
By Andrea Mowry.
Andrea Mowry, thank you. So I used the throwback cardigan pattern, but I steeped it because I'm not doing that back and forth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We did that. You ran that as a class. I audited that, and I steeped mine as well, and was much happier with steeping it. Yeah.
Especially color work.
Yeah. I think I might have worn mine last time. I forget. I wore it recently.
You definitely wore it recently.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday. So I got nothing unfinished object. Sorry, folks. Amanda.
First, I'll show you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my cardigan number 5 by My Favorite Things,
so
which I finished earlier this year in wool folk far and some floof from France that we're out of. But yeah, and it worked great. This pattern was actually originally designed for 2 or 3 strands of silk mohair held together, and I wanted a little bit more substantial sweater. So wool folk far was a great sub. Just I definitely swatched. I actually changed needle sizes, which meant my gauge was different, and that means I had to realign the pattern and the lace and make sure that my stitch count was right for the circumference that I wanted to knit.
Right.
But yeah, it turned out perfect because I wanted a little bit smaller version of the balloon cardigan that I had made, and I really love the all-over lace.
It's so pretty.
So pretty.
I definitely feel like I'm going to make that the way you did. I mean, I will probably just use the far. Who knows? Maybe I'll use the far with catch silk light.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. It would actually be very similar.
I also feel like that would be easier than the way I worked with it with this, because you're just carrying it along with everything.
Yeah.
I probably should make a hat first.
And a lot of the catch silk light would go very well with the far too. Like
the color palette is pretty harmonious.
Similar,
The two of them are.
Yeah. So I love this. I wear it all the time, and the lace actually makes it not as insulating. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's a good indoor sweater because you don't get sweaty.
Yeah. It's a little temperature regulated.
Yeah. It's pleasant. So I've been wearing this one a lot. I do have another finished object. Speaking of socks cranked on sock tubes. Woohoo! Yay! I finished my socks.
Oh, nice.
Yay!
So, yay. These I knit using Jen's new sock class. Well, at least I did for the heels. These are the Turkish thumb heel. I'll bring it up and show them to you. Yeah. I actually used my own thumb because the recipient is my daughter who has very close hand size to mine. So
Perfect.
There you go.
But like I mentioned before, she's a baker here in town at La French Dad. So if you're in Montclair and want some authentic French boulangerie baked goods,
so good.
Baguettes,
so
croissant, pain de mie. Yeah, it's so good. And then they have a lot of pastries too, which are like irresistible.
Yes.
Irresistible.
So good.
So good. But anyway, so she does the baking part overnight. And in a bakery, things get hot. And if you're wearing cotton socks, your feet get sweaty and your socks are wet all night. Not fun.
That sounds so not fun.
Yeah, and you have to wear, like, she wears basically galoshes, short galoshes,
Wow.
because the floor gets like flour and then water, and it's just
like glue.
Slurry.
Yes, it's like it gets gross, or you spill things on the top of your shoes, and you just want to be able to like hose them off at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like people, some of her coworkers wear like Crocs because similar
like
things.
kitchen dogs.
Yeah, but she's like, then the things fall literally on your feet.
Yeah.
And she can't
Not fun.
stand it.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't like
you
that
can
either.
get closed Crocs that they use for kitchenware too, because you need the closed toe.
Well, she wears short hunter boots.
Perfect.
Yeah. But she wears wool socks every night. And a lot of them I hand knit, but now I just started doing tubes and heels and toes. And now that I'm commuting to the city, socks are the perfect thing. So you're going to be seeing a lot more socks, because that's what I'm knitting like every single day, going back and forth to the city. But yeah, I finished these. This is West Yorkshire Spinners, some of their self-striping yarn. And then the heels, toes, and cuffs are left over Jadifra Lana Mia Uni from some socks that I made, some lace socks that I made for me last year. And she just liked the contrast on those. But this is the Turkish heel. So you can see it's round, knit flat at the beginning, which make it nice for a wider foot, which is she has. And then decreases here that go to like a little star point. I love them. And then I did my standard wedge toe. Yeah, standard wedge toe. This is actually like the standard Helen Stewart rounded toe.
Yeah.
Which is what I put on everything, regardless of what it says. I put
Yeah. So once you find a toe that works for you,
yeah, exactly. Just
throw
use
that
it.
on
Use
all
it. What's the difference with the rounded? You after a certain amount, you just decrease every row.
You decrease less frequently at the beginning,
and
then more frequently at the end.
Yeah.
So
that's what I do.
It's like the one that I do, where I decrease every other row until half of the stitches are gone, and then I decrease every row until I'm down to whatever the toe base is.
Yeah. Hers is a little bit longer of a round than that. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
I do what you do.
Whatever works.
Not that I am by any means a sock expert.
Do you have any more finished objects?
That is my only finished object.
All right.
Du jour. I have a lot of
whips.
I have a lot of whips.
Well, let's go into whips. Kathleen.
Whips. Sure, I would be happy to talk about my whip, because I have, this is a whip that I thought would be a finished object by now, but it is not. There's been some stuff going on that has prevented me from having a lot of time to knit the last couple of weeks, but I'm still cranking away when I can. And this is my Ariana that was a cardigan that is now a throw.
Ariana throw.
Ariana throw.
I just, as we were sitting here, finished my last half triangle and last quarter triangle.
Nice.
So this might be a finished object, like, on screen.
Well, no, because I'm going to do my edging.
You got to do your edging. Okay.
Yeah, I probably will get all of these attached. But actually, the thing that I wanted to show is what I just did. I just finished, and I had most of these in place already. I started just pinning the triangles at the bottom, like in the holes that they went to. Because when this thing is pretty big, it's almost hard to see where things go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So it's almost like basting and sewing. It's like I've kind of just attached them in place, and that is going to make it so easy for me to just come along and now do the joining round to attach all of these.
Yep.
And if I get that done, I will start doing my border while we're sitting here chatting today.
Nice.
So all of this is in Lucky Tweed. I used cream, golden, tomato, more cream and golden, and then black.
Nice.
So Yep, started out as a cardigan, was going to be way too big, and...
I was wondering if you were going to do your edging, because Ariana is sort of unique, right? Because it's crochet and then knit borders.
Yeah, exactly.
You could do, like, log cabin borders on that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I think crochet for blankets is so fast, though.
It is so fast.
It is. It's hard
I'm about the fast. I really am. Especially since now, like I said, I really thought I would finish this, and I just have not had the attention span recently to do as much as I would like on these. But I do love granny squares. Like, this really got me back into, like, wanting to do more granny square things.
Yeah.
I have a student I've been working with on Thursday nights who's, like, so excited about them now, too, and everything. And I think we're talking with Erica. She's probably going to do a granny square bag class.
Yeah,
soon,
she's going to do a granny square bag class.
I love
we just have to find the date.
They're so classic and fun. I mean, if somebody's looking for, if you've just learned the basics of crochet, it's such a good thing to learn because there are just so many ways you can go with it.
Yeah.
And this is like your traditional granny square with granny clusters, which are sets of 3 double crochets. But, even within the whole granny square universe, there's like other things you can do for sure.
There's so many things you can do with
Granny Squareverse.
Yep.
Squareverse.
So, Squareverse.
That sounds like your Granny Square averse.
That's true. It does. I am so
true.
not Granny Square averse. No. Granny Square enthusiast. Granny Square enthusiast. Oh, which reminds me that sounds like it may be one of the pins we have.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Oh,
Granny
yeah.
Square enthusiast. I totally need one of those. So my other WIP, and it's like this probably would have been more together if I last night had not worked on this.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? You got to do what you're feeling.
I might have more than just a pair of socks if I hadn't worked on 15 things.
Yeah, you just got to do what you're feeling at the time too. It's so like part of me admires people who work on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if I really tried to work on one thing at a time, I would be so much slower.
I would,
because if I need to work. Well, I need to work on what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
So even though I wanted to finish, this part of the throw last night, I was like, no, I really want to start this hat for Jean because it is already practically spring. Is spring like in 2 days or something? I think it's usually around the 21st.
By the time our podcast...
By the time it comes up, it will be spring.
It'll be spring.
But we were talking about this before we started. It's like, for me, like, St. Patrick's Day is the dividing line between winter and spring.
Oh.
Because it's just, like... After, you still can get some cold days and stuff in the New York metro area after St. Patrick's Day.
Clearly.
But by then, the majority, like the solid part of winter normally is done.
Yeah, hopefully.
Only when we moved to Montclair, though, over 25 years ago, the day that the truck was packed, which was, I don't know, it might have been the 15th or 16th, we got 10 inches of snow. We were in Hoboken. We moved to Montclair. The day they unpacked the truck, the next day, it was 70 degrees. So it was very sloppy and melty. But, that's like perfect March to me. That's the way March goes, right?
That's March, for sure.
So, I am, as is my wont sometimes, copying Jen, because she finds really great patterns.
Thanks.
And I am working on, it's funny, because this pattern is actually kind of appropriately named too, right?
Yes.
Spring on My Mind hat.
Yeah.
I'm working on the Spring on My Mind hat, which is by, I just folded it.
I know, I can't remember her name either.
It's down there.
Monica Anna.
Yes.
Monica Anna, I should remember that. So I was inspired to do this partly by seeing the hats that Jen made for Jonathan, but partly because I had some of the Northlight Atlantic left over from Jean's sweater, and I said, that would make a really nice hat for him.
Yeah.
So I got some of our Pasquale Tibetan, and I'm doing the hemmed hat version. So I did cast on 10% fewer stitches than it calls for in the hat, and instead of doing ribbing, it's just stockinette. I did about 12 rows. I did a pearl turning row, and now I'm working up to the point where I'm going to join the hem to the hat and then begin the colorwork pattern after that.
Fantastic.
So I love it. So it's going to be the red I use for his sweater, cream, and gray.
That's going to be
Isn't that
so
so
nice.
pretty?
That's a great color.
So pretty. But definitely totally inspired by yours. Like, I saw it and immediately it was like, click, click, click.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really great colorwork pattern. Like, it's really attractive.
And it's 2 for 1 too,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like two different charts. They're really compatible. Actually, that would be so cute to make them like for twins or something, or siblings, like to make the two different versions
for the same but different.
Exactly. So anyway, loving that, and I think it is really funny. The chart is actually done in gray and gold and white, which is like my color palette. So I'll probably have enough gray and white left over. And I bet I've got some far or something that I could use for the gold.
Yes, just swap it in.
There's probably going to be another one of these for me at some point.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I had the 3 balls of Tibetan.
Yeah.
And I got 2 hats plus a little. I still have some left over.
Yeah.
And if I had done a pom-pom, wouldn't have any left over. But, he doesn't have pom-poms. So
cool. Exactly.
I know. And that's a good hat to. That's a fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing that up.
Cool.
Yeah, so he'll have a hat before it gets too warm.
Nice. Well, I was gonna say Jonathan wears his hats until but he's bald.
Yeah, Gene doesn't have.
He's like, it's chilly.
He doesn't have that much hair, and he walks the dog so many times a day. Like early in the day, it's cold, even if it's like nice and warm in the late afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
It's cold in the morning. It's cold, right before bedtime.
It's cold in the evening too, when as soon as the sun starts going down, and if it's windy, oof.
Yep.
It brings it down like another 20 degrees. Do you have
those?
Others?
Those are the only ones I brought with me, and they really are. That's all I've kind of been working on.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, let me get to the end of this row. I have only WIPs right now. I have a couple, including. I forgot the Timbo vest, which is what I'm wearing. Heavily modified Timbo vest. Why would I do anything as written? So I'm doing this in
so out of character.
Manis Uruguay Cardo. So
I like it.
I'm doing it as a kind of crew scoop neck. So this is actually the front. So a couple of things that I've changed from the pattern is it's a funnel neck in the pattern, so it stands up like this. So you just cast on and go straight.
And we had it in a couple episodes ago, right?
Yes.
I made a sort of sample of it.
Yep.
So I did a tubular cast on, even on the stockinette part. It was literally like a tubular cast on of 1 by 1.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And then I did short rows while doing the increases. And I just added some short rows to technically raise that back neck and lower that front neck.
Mm-hmm.
This is broken rib, right?
Then this is in broken rib.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Perfect to just start.
Yes. And it's like basically I just went to past the shoulder and then back around.
Nice.
And a little further and a little further and a little further. So that raised up the back neck so it didn't go across me. And then I followed most of the directions for dividing. I did the increases the way that the increases are supposed to be, but I just did it long enough until like the shoulder strap was long enough because my measurements were off because the neck was higher. And now I'm working on the back, and I added a selvage stitch. So I'm slipping the first stitch of each row because there's no edging picked up. So I'm slipping the first stitch of each row, that's staying in stockinette, and then the second stitch is also staying in stockinette. And I'm going to add a little armhole shaping to it. So the pattern is written, you go down, and then you cast on. So I'm going to go down a little, stop a little bit shorter, and then do increases on either side to kind of like just
shape the armhole.
Shape it out because I don't want the armhole quite as low. But I'm going to do the exact same thing that you did, where the armhole stitches are going to be in stockinette down the side because I really like that look. Yeah, so it's going really quickly, but I have to actually, because I'm winging it. Using the pattern as a basis, I have to actually figure out where I'm going to do the armhole increases. The nice thing about broken rib, though, it's really easy to count your stitches.
Yes.
Like, and to count your rows, because I'm like, boop, ba-doop, 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 all the purl bumps.
Yeah.
But I really like the Cardo. It works really quickly. I had it upstairs for a while, so I didn't work on it quite as much as I would have. Otherwise, I probably would have finished the entire yoke by now, based on when I started it. So instead, I was working on...
I really want a Cardo sweater. I know I've said that.
Squashy.
It is.
Get to it this year.
Right?
I think it really is one of those yarns that it's going to be... You need to really work to pick the right pattern, though, because it's so dense.
It's dense,
which
is
is
sturdy.
One reason that the vest is so good, because it's not too much not too much coverage.
Zip-up jacket too.
It would be great for a jacket. That's exactly that. Is I feel like it's definitely one of those yarns that would, yeah, you can make like almost like a coat out of it.
Yeah, it looks great in texture. It looks nice and stockinette. It's just a nice chunky yarn. So these are my Magnolia socks by Helen Stewart in Color Wheel sock with glitter in it. I don't remember the name of it.
Glitter
I don't
sock.
remember the color. From the Color Wheel trunk show, and I am either about to start for the toe or one lace repeat away from starting from the toe.
You're in the same. You can't knit anymore for the same reason I can't knit.
I know. I'm like, I need to try it on, basically, and be like, is this good? This is another one where it'll be easy to make the second one because I can just count the lace
It's
repeats.
the best. Yes,
it's so nice.
I wore my Magnolia socks yesterday.
Yeah, and I did a double gusset on the bottom of the foot, which I think I talked about last time.
Which pattern had the double gusset? Do you remember?
It's called double gusset.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you can swap it in for anything, and I think it's a free pattern.
I'll put that link with our pattern links down below. Yeah.
So I've been working on this off and on. This is I'm driving children, and I need to bring something portable with me. So this is my portable with me, and then my larger project is the
oh my goodness
Eva
made
so much progress.
Wow.
I'm almost to the point of doing the ribbing. There's like 4 inches of ribbing.
Whoops.
So this is, let me hold it up.
Sorry.
The Eva cardigan from Petite Knits.
So pretty.
I have to take it up. Talk about it, then I'm going to take it up because you got to see the fabric on this.
So this is done in Madeline Tosh Wool Cycle Sport, held alongside with LBA, La Bien-Aimée Merino Silk in Springtime at Yarnia, and the Wool Cycle Sports in paper. The fabric is so nice. It's so nice. It's like super subtle.
Gosh, it is beautiful.
This is a great pattern. This is for my Sunday sweater class. We're doing either the Eva cardigan or the Champagne cardigan. I chose the Eva. And yeah, so I'm trying to get to the ribbing so that I can toggle to sleeves and be ready to demonstrate a vertical knit button band.
Yeah.
When such is time. So.
Yay, I'm going to bring this up so you can see what the silk mohair looks like.
Keep going with the yarn. I'll feed the yarn.
Right?
With a neutral. It's so pretty.
I do love it with the paper. It's perfect.
It's not like in your face, but you can see the colored speckles come through.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how
it's one that's going to read. I have an old Fullerton Vest shawl that I made that is similar, that looks gray, and then you look at it up close and you're like, oh my goodness, there's pinks and blues and browns and gold and like
there's like a million different colors.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a neutral cardigan that had some kind of interest in it. So now I have to really just decide, like, how long do I want it?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So I need to throw it on some pearl strings or a second or a longer circular needle and try it on again and see, like, okay, do I want the full 4 inches of rib?
Yeah.
That's a lot of rib.
That's a lot of rib, but I think I do.
You should also think about what other cardigans you might have that fit similar to what you're looking for this one to fit.
Right.
Yes.
Like this one is a little bit cropped, but I think I want this one to be a little bit longer than this. So I might need to lay them one on top of the other to see where I'm at.
Yeah. I feel like, I know I can lie to myself on pearl strings.
So this is the thing. I was trying it on last night when I was working on it, but I was wearing leggings. And I don't care if I wear this with leggings or not, but I'm like, the real test for me is jeans.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Is it going to
That is such a good tip. Like, try it with what you're going to wear it with.
Yeah, what's the outfit you're going to wear?
Do you know what? I kind of lied to myself on pearl strings with this, too. Like, if I... and also, I knew... So, I did lie to myself a little bit on pearl strings, too, with this. But when you said that, I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
Because
fine.
I did it.
Like, it'll be good.
I did it. Yeah. I was ready to move on. I wanted to finish.
Like, I'm done. I'm done with this part.
It's funny because I don't usually do that. I feel like I'm usually like, I'm going to wear it a long time.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
I don't. I don't know. It's pretty funny for me. And actually, there's no way I'm gonna. I know I could. Well, this would be hard to do from the bottom. I guess I could. No.
You could pick up and do longer ribbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the ribbing that I want longer. The ribbing is nice and long. I want the body to be longer. So I'm gonna make another one, and I will learn my lesson on the next one, or I will apply my lesson. It is cute, and yeah.
And also, if you wear it over like a dress or something, that's a cute.
My only dress that I wear has dinosaurs on it. I don't think this goes with my dinosaur dress.
That maybe.
No,
that's not true. Actually, I do have some linen dresses for the summer, but
I'm such a dress person. I'm in jeans today, which is unusual for me.
I'm either jeans or dresses.
I'm in jeans almost every day.
Jeans or dresses.
Linen pants in the summer.
But I figured, I'm like, I'll try it on basically with what I'm wearing today. Essentially, like a tank top and jeans. And these are the slightly lower waist jeans, because that's the other thing where I'm like...
Yeah, they don't always hit at the same spot. Yeah. Well, and if it works with the low ones, it should work with the high ones,
It'll work with the high ones.
Yeah, it's like...
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, that's at a decision point, which means that I need to just... I need to figure it out. I need to do what I tell the students, which is think about how you want it to fit and then make a decision. And then I'm also stuck at that point. So
yes, that takes time and mental capacity.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And just be like, do I want this? Do I want that? I don't know. I want them both. What about you, Amanda? That's it for my whips.
All right. Do y'all have a beverage?
Do we have a whip parade?
Are we ready?
Would you like to take a...
Get comfy.
If you need to pause and take a bio break.
Really? We have a whip parade.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I have so much going on. All right. Let me start with... I'll start with the easy one because now that I finished socks number 1, I'm working on socks number 2. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like... I actually opened this project bag and was like, oh my goodness. I totally forgot about this whip. So this has been my sock that I've been working on recently, which is my Crafter Gamer Geek sock. And the it's the character that it's dyed after is Al Haytham from Genshin Impact. And I forget what the name of the colorway actually is. Something like the introverted scribe.
I remember you saying that before, yeah.
So, this is that color. It's actually a sock set. So, there's a full skein of the green, and then this gray goes with it. And so, I picked to do this with Helen Stewart's Altitude socks. Let me show you what that looks like. This has been my train project. This week.
It was so nice to meet David last Friday when he was here for the trunk show. That was great.
This is Helen Stewart's Altitude socks. And it's really fun to watch how the striping changes as I go down. And I'll tell you why the striping on this changes. Because for some weird reason, I cast on 60 stitches on a 64 stitch sock.
Oh.
Oopsies. And did the whole leg in 60 stitches.
Oh.
And I didn't realize it till I was on the train and turning the heel. Like, I knit the whole heel flap.
Yeah, you get...
Because sometimes you don't
have to count at that point. You're just going. Yeah, right?
No, I didn't. I put the 33 stitches on hold across the top like I was supposed to. And the heel flap. Didn't realize that I was only knitting not across 31 stitches, but across, 27 stitches instead.
I bet that heel flap went quick.
It did go quickly. Ta-da! But then I started turning the heel and doing the counts, like how many stitches you go before you do a rapid turn and go back.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few rows, I realized my heel turn was growing out of the side of my sock, and I'm like, I have a problem. So then I counted my stitches, finally. By the time I was turning the heel, I finally counted the stitches going around and was like, oh, great. I have a 60-stitch sock instead of a 64-stitch sock.
Does it fit you, though?
Well, what I did to compensate was, when I first started knitting socks, I did knit 60-stitch. But now I really prefer 64. So instead of...
you really have a nice tight gauge with your socks.
Yeah.
So instead of decreasing every other row... Mm-hmm. Right after I finished the turn, I started, and I picked up the stitches on the heel flap. I decreased every third row for the first, 5 decreases. Then I started decreasing every other. So it's a slower decrease, and then I only decrease to 64 stitches going around.
Haley does that too sometimes with hers. She plays around with her decrease rate to make it a little bit.
So that way, the gusset is the length that a gusset should be, and I get to a 64 stitch gauge on the foot, which is really where I need a little bit more width. I have skinny mini fingers, as we probably discussed before, wrists and ankles, and so it's fine. And I tried it on, and it's fine. But it actually definitely won't fit Beth, who has a flatter arch. Yeah. So, oh darn, these socks are for me.
Oh, wow.
Womp womp. Wow. But I do think I'm going to do what you did, Kathleen, because I think I'm going to have enough after I finish this to crank a tube.
Out
of the other one. And then I'll add heels, toes, and cups for her.
Yeah. Perfect.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll both have I'll hate them socks.
Yeah, that's even better.
Which is good.
Share the love.
And by the time this podcast comes out, our Crafter Gamer Geek Trunk Show will be departed from the store.
Sadly.
But I think we're going to keep some.
We might keep a little.
Yeah,
right?
Especially the sock, right?
Yes,
the sock
is so I brought pretty. Some just to show you. And if you missed it, and you're not local, because I'm not going to put it online, then check out his Etsy. It's down below.
Yeah.
Let me show you just some of the samples real quickly.
Beautiful samples.
Because, David loves his samples. And, these aren't on his Etsy, so the only time you get to see these is at a show.
Yeah.
And he has some of the best samples ever.
He really does. He's great samples. Yeah.
Just beautiful choices to highlight his colors.
Kim got yarn for that yesterday.
This is the Frank shawl by Hoagie Locatelli.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Right?
So
and such an easy to wear shawl. Like the shape is so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And unusual. Really very creative.
It is. It hangs super nicely. This one's been on the mannequin.
Yeah.
Right? It drapes really well on a human form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, because Hoagie's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's that one. This one is Be Content by Lisa Overby. This is also done in the sock base.
So pretty.
Super pretty, right? It's done with two colors, sort of so you can see the little bees on there. Ta-da-da. That one's lovely. And I love how it plays with a variegated, right? You can see how you can do a lace shawl even with variegated, because now we're highlighting the lace and the solid, and so the echoes in the variegated, it's not as disruptive. Does that make sense, what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one I have to show, I love this one. This is the Maria wrap by Amba O'Brien. And this is the shawl that David was wearing at India Untangled when I first met him. And it is spectacular.
Yeah. Such beautiful colors.
Right?
Love the teal.
Oh, really? Really?
Shocker. Again.
Yeah.
So surprised.
So that's... And Amba's shawls are just beautiful, wearable, and relaxing. This one looks really lovely.
Yeah.
With some slip stitches, a little easy lace. So that one is lovely. So
I've stolen.
Right?
But now I'm hot, so I might need to take it off.
So I have some examples over here, some of his colors.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They're really
lovely pinks.
Yes, he does.
Really, really lovely.
And mixes them, I feel like, with colors that aren't typical.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all of these really are inspired by either games or anime. That's his the themes and where he pulls from, the artwork he pulls from. Look at those. That would be really pretty and
really pretty.
this kind of a shawl.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also really love his bases.
That's the one I got.
This is 60% superwash merino, 20% alpaca, 20% nylon. So if you want alpaca socks.
Exactly.
I got that color. I did not get the
I was going to say, I'm
I got
guessing
the DK.
You got the DK.
But what is that color called again?
An Oni in the family?
And that is a Genshin color. Oni.
That's really pretty.
Oh, and it kind of harks back to a witch in the family, right?
Yeah. It does.
And then these are the sock sets, similar to what I'm knitting my socks on, which have the little mini, plus the colors to go with them. lady with the loaded umbrella, which as soon as Eric heard that, he's like, oh, I know that character. I have that character. I think this was a 5-star from a few months ago. So, yay.
So pretty.
All sorts. So, anyway, these are just a few of the selections that we brought. Eric actually picked some of David's yarn for his sweater this year. Aww. I have a sweater for Eric on my Make 9, which are all sweaters. That might not happen. I don't know if I can do 9 sweaters, but we'll see. But David has a really beautiful clear blue.
Yes.
That Eric loved. So now you'll be seeing more of that as I get that project started, probably in like the August time frame. August, September.
It's so funny. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to be making next week.
Oh my gosh, I seriously do not.
And actually, it stresses me out to think that far ahead. I do not like
I can't plan.
I like to...
No.
I don't enjoy it. I enjoy knitting when I feel like knitting at the moment.
I'm not that good of a planner.
Eric picked...
I plan a lot of things. I don't plan my crafting. I just don't like to.
I forget the name of it. There's a... it's a petite knits pattern that has like knits and pearls patterns all over it.
Oh, nice.
I
think I can picture it, but I can't think of the name.
There's a junior version.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make him the 10 to 12-year-old size.
Nice.
So that will probably be I also have an idea for my Rhinebeck sweater, but I just had an idea in the shower today. So I don't know that it exists.
Oh, wow.
So...
Okay. We should talk more about this off camera.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be fun. But anyway, okay. There's that. That's number 1. Mm-hmm. That's my commuting project right now. My project to be, what I will be working on during Knit for Food all day long, is clue number 1 of the Helen Stewart Mystery Knit Along that's coming out.
I figured that was probably...
We knew that one was coming.
The clue is going to drop on Thursday. I'm sure I'll be able to finish clue 1 during Knit for Food on Saturday. Because that's, 10 hours is probably about the time...
That's like a week's worth of...
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing that. I'm going to show you the colors that I'm using.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will put that Instagram post up today.
The 24 Birds Knit Along by Helen Stewart. Like I said, the pattern is dropping on Thursday, so I can't show you what it looks like yet.
And so by the time this comes out, you will be able to...
Yes. Yeah.
When you jump in, you'll get the first clue.
Right. So I would highly recommend. I love Helen Stewart's patterns. There were kits, Villenvine dyed kits.
Yeah,
there are lots of dyers that dyed kits. Mm-hmm. Her kits sold out, of course, in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But this set that I picked out from La Bien-Aimée, the Cashmerino base, is super similar. Hers had a little bit lighter, which we have a little bit lighter teal as well, like a brighter, lighter teal.
Yeah.
There's a lighter one of
the Isle of Arran. So Villenvine's, I would say, looks like these 3 plus Isle of Arran. But I really love Winterfell. Mm-hmm. It's my bae on the color side. So I really wanted to use that, and I think this is going to be a great pop with these 3.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love... Which one is this?
Is that Nymeria?
No, it's...
Yeah,
it is Nymeria. Yeah, you're right.
That's Nymeria. Mm-hmm. This is Dust, which is like a pink.
That's another one.
Nymeria, which is like a neutral with multicolored speckles. And this is Glacier, which is like light greens and gray with green and gold speckles and navy speckles. So these 3 together, that you're supposed to have like a gentle fade with 3 of about the same tone and then a pop. So my Winterfell is the pop. I suspect there's going to be some spectacular lace in this.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm thinking about putting together some more kits for people that might be interested. So Amanda put together stuff for an Instagram post. I will grab some colors here today and add to that. So
yeah, if you're still looking for kits, if you haven't started yet, we'll have a few options. And if you do have a kit, or if you have started, let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to know who I'm knitting along with, because I'm sure
there'll be a lot of people.
We've got viewers who are excited about this shawl as well. I love Stewart's knit along.
Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because, I tried a Stephen West knit along a couple of years ago, and I'm not a knit along person because or not a mystery, not a mystery
Yeah.
because I like to know what it is because I usually change it and all of that. And, you know, I was tempted. I saw Amanda's color combo. I saw the wool and vine color combos. I'm like, wow, these are gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I have like 2 other shawls really high in my queue. And if I'm itching to make a shawl, what I should do is actually work on one of the ones that's in my queue that I already have yarn for.
Knit along with us.
Wait until the mystery knit along is done, and then see what it looks like and see what you want to change.
But also, like, I would do Miss May. Like, I love your Miss May, and that was a mystery knit along. So I feel like, you know,
the challenge with a mystery knit along, like if you look at my Miss May, which actually I don't know if you guys can look at my Miss May. I'm not sure if I ever made a Ravelry project for it. I was really bad about that. I'm not great about it this year, but I'm going to improve. I started out good. February was a little bit of a bust with the taking pictures for Rav. I'll work on that this week. I'll put that on my to-dos. I'm saying that as I'm editing, I will actually put it on my to-dos.
Yep.
Her automatic reminder.
Well, it's funny.
I took groceries on Monday, Amanda.
Yeah.
Do the kids' camp forms.
I did the camp forms.
I took a picture of this morning. Before I steamed it even, and I was like, "Yep, put that on Ravelry."
Yeah, you're really good at Ravelry.
I'm pretty good. Even if it's not a great picture, I'd rather have a not a great picture than no picture.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe because my hair and makeup is done today. Maybe I'll put on my Fullerton today and do a photo shoot.
Yes, for the pattern. Yeah,
and then also send that to me, and I'll swap out the one in the class.
Yeah.
I love your entire color palette. I love these 3 colors.
Yeah. These would be a great, not find your fade, but there's another 3 skein.
Yeah, the 3
Andrea Mowry fade.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
For your
fade. Beautiful.
Maybe it is for your fade.
I think that's the 3.
Yeah. This would be really lovely for a gentle.
Or one of the, or So Faded, like for the sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a beautiful So
Somebody
faded.
wore a So Faded last week to Knit Night. It was so pretty. I'd never seen it before. It's been cranking through projects.
Oh. Anyway, okay, you ready for the next thing?
Yes.
Okay. Guess what? Rhinebeck sweater I started.
Oh my gosh, for this year?
Oh, you started Chad's sweater?
Yeah, I started Chad's sweater.
Chad's sweater. Okay, I was like, oh my god.
No,
How do you know that?
I just have an idea for mine.
Nice.
But I got started on Chad's sweater.
Yay.
I'm forgetting the name of it because I'm a dum-dum and didn't write it down.
Do you have the pattern?
Yeah.
In your bag?
It's Noragon. Oh, yes, I do. Because it's a sweater, so I print the patterns. Because I don't print them usually for shawls, but I do. I might print a what do you call it? A
chart.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't print the whole pattern. But for sweaters, I print the whole pattern. And I've already gone through and like highlighted his size the whole way through.
Yeah.
Atta girl.
Mm-hmm.
Good tip. Pro tip.
Denali by Noragon.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is a cable on the front, but it's not crazy cables.
Yeah.
Like some
Noragon are like
crazy cables.
Yeah. Where you have to pay attention on every row front and back.
That's hard.
So it starts out with half twisted rib on the bottom. It is all seamed, and I'm just going to knit it to pattern. I thought about doing it in the round and blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know what, just whatever. I'm just going to seam it. I don't mind seaming, so whatever.
Yeah.
The only thing I really like about things in the round is that they're easier to try on.
Yeah.
Even if it is bottom up.
Yeah.
It's still.
The good thing, I'm glad that I knit him a top-down sweater last year because we tried it on a lot as I was knitting it.
So you know what
and
you like
now
for fit and everything.
I'm just like, well, it did. I used a cabled cast-on, an alternating cabled cast-on for this.
Looks really nice, doesn't
It looks lovely.
Yeah, it looks really
like
good.
Tubular, but not.
Oh, it was. I would say
easier.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Mm-hmm.
It looks beautiful. I'm going to bring it up and show you what it looks like. But yeah, now all my cables are set. I haven't done the first cross yet, but we started watching The Tudors.
Oh, yeah.
From Showtime, which I saw most of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the last 80% of it when it was on Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't start watching it until probably halfway through the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed the beginning. Of course, it was an easy story to jump into because I like history.
Yeah,
I remember my 10th grade history, European history.
Right.
So it wasn't like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Who are these characters?
Yeah. They are
all else fails, you could be like, let me just look it up on Wikipedia. How many wives to...
Exactly. So I sort of knew what was going on. I passed those tests. But yeah, I had never actually seen the episode, so we watched the first episode of The Tudors. I mean, and I don't mind watching Jonathan Rhys Meyers all the time.
I mean, who doesn't?
Lovely. That'll tide me over till Bridgerton comes out.
There you go.
When is Bridgerton coming out?
I think it's at May.
Okay.
Anyway, so here's the bottom. Here's that cable, alternating cable cast on. And then my little markers are delineating each cable and the space. There's like sort of it's garter between each cable. So
but that's nice also because that's another reason actually to knit it flat is like if you have a predominantly garter based garment, way easier to do flat.
You do not want to.
And it's actually easier to count your cables.
Yeah.
If you're knitting it flat.
True.
Yeah. You can count how many rows easier flat than you can.
Because you know, like, oh, it's every third right side round as opposed to every fourth right side round.
Yes. It's actually easier that way. So that's several reasons why I just decided to knit it flat. Yeah. It's good. I might not knit the sleeves flat though. Because the sleeves are supposed to be flat and then seamed. I might actually just do
pick up the sleeves and work down.
Do a provisional cast on, knit about an inch, then do all the sleeve shaping because there's a saddle shoulder.
Yeah.
Do all the sleeve shaping, saddle shoulder, seam it, then pick up the sleeves and continue to knit down after I've seamed.
So you can hit the length.
Exactly. That way, then he can try it on. And I think it's easier to do the decreases and know like where you want to do them if you knit sleeves in the round.
Is
so that's probably the stockinette sleeves.
Oh
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that way you get the benefits of not having to deal with re-gauging the shoulder shaping into a saddle shoulder, which has some weird shaping things going on. Yeah. Not actually regrading a pattern that Nora Gone thought about, which is an advanced mind. But yeah, not.
It looks really pretty.
And he likes the color, which
color's
is
great.
Yeah. And the gauge looks nice.
Yeah, it looks really good.
His delicate, dainty
What's the ribbing? Is it twisted rib?
It's half twisted. Yeah, so you don't have knitting flat. You don't have to purl through the back loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yay! We like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind knitting through the back loop. I'll knit through the back loop all day.
Right.
Yeah.
Purling through the back loop.
More of a pain for sure.
Yep. Not my favorite.
So I don't have enough of the ribbing established that I know it intuitively and I could do it during the podcast. That's why I'm not working on this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next thing, sweater for me. Woo! Yay! So I finished. Ooh, I'm gonna put this here so I remember to wind it.
Oh yeah.
I finished the body of my vine line.
Yay!
So now I'm working on the sleeves. I would try it on. That would be nice to show you.
Try it on.
Well, but I've got to transfer stitches. Okay. Then I'll pause and then I'll try it on.
Lips. So cute.
All right, fine lines. This is by Lily Kate France. So this is a sweater in Woolfolk Tauve. It's a very dark color. I think this is color number 20. Is that right?
It's like
no, TDK 19. Color 19. Yeah, it's a very dark maroon. I'm making this actually to wear to work, to wear with like pencil skirts and things like that. So it also works nicely with jeans. And you can see there's quite a bit of negative ease on this top.
Nice. I love it.
It's actually just cast on, similar to Jen's sweater where you just like cast on and start knitting. So there's not a button, there's not a neckband. And then it has like a wide neckline, which I think is nice on something like that. I love a wide but shallow neckline. This is one of my faves. And then to offset the negative ease here,
there's step back. I see.
Got stitches in danger.
There you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I would rather not lose stitches right now because these sleeves are quite voluminous.
Yeah.
And they're shaped with short rows on the top. So I'm in the middle of short rows, which is why I'm not knitting on this during the podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
And so you go back and forth on the top with short rows for quite a long way to like make a puff sleeve, and then continue down straight before like a long 1x1 rib at the bottom. So you've got negative ease here, offset by more volume here, which is going to be, I think, a really pretty thing to wear to work.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm going to finish this in time to wear it in the spring. Although I have to say my office is chilly.
I was going to say, here's the thing about an office is that they're cold.
They are cold.
The
Cardigans
other...
are often better for that, though, too. Yeah. I can't take this off in the subway. Someone's going to...
That's what I was going to say. It's like you want to pick if you got a really good chilly day in April or something after you're done, because you got the commute in.
You're optimistic that I'm going to finish these sleeves in
a
month, given Helen Stewart's knit along is starting on Thursday.
Oh, that's true. Oh, well, and they are puff sleeves. I was going to say, like, a short row sleeve cap actually doesn't take that long, but when
there's more volume in the sleeve,
and you have a lot of volume there, they might.
Oh,
it's pretty though.
Yeah, I love it.
Fits
I'm
great.
really happy. I did not lie to myself on pearl strings. I almost did. My knit night ladies saved
me. Did they keep you honest?
Yes. I was like, can I just stop now? They're like, no, continue.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, this is a good length. And I also, the schematic is great.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between her boob size and waist size is less than I have between my boob size and my waist size. So if I had knit the size 2 the whole way, it would have been a lot of negative ease up here.
Yeah, super tight.
Yes, which is not the work look I'm going
for.
For.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't need it to be see-through on the top because it's stretched so thin. Yeah, so I actually knit the size 3 on the top and then decreased more rapidly to a size 2 on the bottom.
Because it already had waist shaping, right?
It had, a little bit, and so mine is just more. Yeah.
It looks really
to adjust to the circumference I want it.
Well, perfect.
Yay! Okay, now switching back to a sweater that I'm not going to lose stitches on.
Okay.
Good idea.
Now, the last thing I have to talk about is a project that I've been telling you I was going to talk about since January. I haven't started it until now.
Right.
I had a weekend where we weren't traveling, literally didn't have plans. And so I got to actually focus and watch some of the lessons, the tutorials, and read patterns and get things started. So that's why Chad Sweater got started this weekend.
Yeah.
And also I started on my tessellation throw from the Mercery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that is a online course that started in January. Probably most of the other people that are working on it are well into their blankets by now. I am just starting because that's where I am in life, and this is going to be a long-term project.
It's totally fine.
So the Mercery, she's in London, or she's in UK, and it is a crochet designer, and she does like beautiful art pieces. I would say these are not like throws for your couch. Even when you're like putting the shapes together, they're not seamed together like mattress stitched. Crochet. They're joined like at corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wouldn't take a whole lot of like pulling on.
A child could easily pop it.
Yeah. I mean, if you live in a house with only adults, it might still be a sofa throw.
A sofa throw that you don't actually use that much.
Yeah, well, just to have on as a decoration on the back of the sofa.
It's a decorative piece.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm working on the tessellation. I'll put a photo in from her Instagram here so you can see what it looks like, what her sample looks like. So when you take one of her classes, and one of the reasons that I really wanted to take one of her courses is because she is an expert in color theory. She's an artist. So the first month of lessons was all about color. Like you make swatches of color, collage swatches, and learn how to like layer colors and put them together. And you make like physical tools to like do that with.
Wow.
It's really cool. At some point I will actually do that. I watched them, and I didn't do
step
the exercises.
one step at a time, right? Yeah.
I don't have that kind of time right now.
Yeah.
But as I was watching it, it started like making my brain think.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what would be really like one way to like get inspired with colors is to look at colors that like artists use, and when they're in paintings, you know, whether that's like you know, a Renoir or a Matisse or Degas, you know, and look at their paintings not like a painting of a dancer, but what colors are they putting adjacent to each other? You know, how do the variants in the backgrounds, like we were talking about with, you know, like it looks gray, but there's actually many, many other colors like making up that color.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so how are different colors playing together to give an overall visual impression? So I decided to take a painting as the inspiration for my blanket. So
such a good idea, because then you've got like a built-in palette, and you can vary a bit if you want to. But yeah, if you love the colors within the painting, it's a great way to do it.
Well, and somebody with a lot more actual color skill than me has picked colors that go together, right, in a very interesting way. So let me show you the painting. Okay, so the painting that I'm using is this one.
Sorry,
it's a portrait of Emily Flogue by Gustav Klimt. I knew in my blanket I wanted to use blues and purples and also neutrals. I found a few paintings that I liked, but this one I think lends itself perfectly to this blanket. Because if you look at it, if you look at tessellation next to the painting, you can see there are similarities. Now, actually, you have to flip the Mercery's tessellation over. So I'm going to rotate it on the screen, and then we're going to see like, oh, look, there's a starburst similar location to where her head is, right? And they sort of follow a central line down the middle, which sort of mirrors how she's positioned in the painting. So this blanket that I'm working on is going to be an interpretation of the portrait and the tessellation.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
I'm so excited. So anyway, so that's the inspiration and the colors and things like that. So then my job was to collect colors that are in that painting. So when our rep Antonia from Rowan was here, we went through the whole Rowan Felted Tweed catalog and picked out like every color that is in that. So you can see like there's neutrals on, like sandy neutrals on the bottom, right? So like these guys, there are a lot of blues and purples.
And we already had like, I don't know, 30 colors of felted tweed or something.
Yeah, we have a lot of felted
So we added another dozen though to get the full scope for Amanda's blanket.
So there's
so
3 purples and then all these blues, right? So that's the blues and purples that are
that's so good.
Her dress, as well as the background sort of like at the top. There are, here's some more of the bluey heading toward the greens. I also added in some Rama phenol garn because there's this bright blue in her dress.
Bright cobalt, yeah.
There's brighter blues. There's also black, so good Rama black, and those play nicely together.
Yeah,
she's a redhead. Love them redheads. So we have these
nice
browns and reds, and there's also some brown and red on the bottom in the background. So those guys are going to be playing there. Here's another brown, probably more for the background. And then we have pops. Like, you can see her dress has, like, these jewel pops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have, like, this electric green, this, like, Vaseline green, I think is the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is called sulfur, right? That bright yellow.
Yeah.
And then this bright pink. Like, there's pops of all these throughout. Yeah. None of them are, like, huge splashes, but they are accents scattered throughout her dress, right? So, like, that sort of defines, she has brighter pops as opposed to the background, which is, like, all blue. Something like that. So, ta-da.
I can't wait to see this. It's going to be amazing.
This is going to be amazing.
This was the collection of colors work was step one.
Yeah.
The deciding what I was going to do, collection of colors is step one. I have not done it yet. This is part of the pattern, right? Like, I need to color in.
Oh, wow. Like, yeah, so you know, so you can follow it, basically.
So I have a map of where I'm going.
Uh-huh.
So the course comes with this one, which was her original, that it has an asymmetrical design.
Uh-huh.
And there's also an option in there for people who like order and symmetry.
But I love the asymmetrical. Like, if
I would do asymmetrical for that. Right. I think it just, because the whole thing isn't symmetrical, I feel like it flows better having your edging being not symmetrical as well.
It lends, this one in particular, like, lends itself, the painting obviously lends itself to a vertical non-symmetrical arrangement. But if you were doing another color pattern, right, and the symmetrical one is like top and bottom, left and right symmetrical. Not quadrants, but right and left symmetrical and top to bottom.
Yes.
So, anyway, whatever you like, there's options for those kind of things. Right now it's a course. She runs her courses more than once. It's an online course, and it's a at your own speed, on demand course. You know, like the sections are being released every week. I'm about 20 sections behind. Let's be real.
How many sections are there? Or
There's a lot, and she releases chunks at a time. So you'll have like several tests to do when it comes to like mixing colors or thinking about your yarn or like whatever. I started crocheting this weekend. So the first thing to crochet, and the other thing about this pattern, which I think is cool, it's a tessellation of pentagons.
Ooh.
Which, if you've ever played with shapes, are hard to tessellate because they don't tessellate in an ordinary way. So a tessellation, right, is like shapes that fit together with no space in between.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you think of like squares that you pack in one on top of each other, right? Or bricks are a tessellation too, of rectangles, where the next row is offset by half. Right? There's no space in between the rectangles, and there's a regular order to them. If you think about it, like, these don't tessellate because they don't, the angles don't make 100 or 360 degrees. So you have to add other shapes in there to get something that will repeat over a large area. And even then, complications arise, which is what she solved for in the pattern. But the first step, you don't just like a lot of patterns, jump in and you start crocheting. It's a very like organic experience. So the first thing is to make all these little pentagons and make them with different shapes. So you group your colors according to like, you know, sort of genres. So like I said, these are like sort of her hair colors. This is sort of backgroundy colors. I might throw this guy in with some background too. These are the blues. This is going to be like dress. Maybe throw in this part of the dress because there's pink pops and, you know, whatever. And start making little pentagons and see how the colors are playing together. And then later you plan like where each of these pentagons is going to sort of live.
So you'll eventually use them, but they're a tool right now.
Or some of them you might not use because the colors don't work together.
Right.
Or it doesn't work for, you know, where it needs to be. So that's what I did on the weekend, is I made tons of these little pentagons. Here, I'll show them to you how these look. So, I'm playing with pentagons. Yay! This one I just made, and I made a couple of them while I was sitting here. And you can make these about I don't know, 10, 15 minutes if I was paying attention for real. But I'm just seeing how each of these tones plays together. And then I did some background color ones, right? Like that guy. This one with a little pop of the red in the middle. This one is actually the reverse of that one. So to see how, how it looks differently if the colors are reversed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is amazing sometimes.
Yeah,
things have such a different effect just by reversing an order. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably continue playing with these this week, and maybe I'll read the next section, and probably color my little chart in. But I feel honestly, a big part of this was picking which hook I'm going to use.
Right?
And doing a little doing some of these and gauging what's the tension, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, once I get a little further into this and I have to make 80, the pentagons, then we'll be in a place where I can take it on the train and knock out.
Yeah, where you can be
10 a day or whatever.
Would I do 10 of my blues and only need 3 skeins as opposed to 30?
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-da! But that's my last WIP, which is going to be a WIP for a very long time. Yeah. This is probably going to be a 2 or 3 year project, which is fine. And it'll go. I've really been wanting to do one of her blankets for years, and I'm really thrilled to be doing this one. So yay!
Very cool.
So I would love to hear feedback on what y'all think of my project. I'm excited about it. But
it's very cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool. That's going to be awesome.
And then I'm sure once I finish, we'll just hang it up here, somewhere.
Right. It's an art piece.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
not taking it to my house for my kids.
Yeah, right. No. I think one of the things that's so cool too about picking a Klimt is the way he uses color. It is I feel like it relates very much to the way the pattern is done. Very nice kind of intersection of the different.
It absolutely lends itself to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the way he depicts textiles too.
Oh yeah.
In the painting, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's sort of cool to interpret his painting of textiles in a textile.
As a textile. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very fun.
So anyway, that's a very long explanation of all my WIPs. I'm busy.
You're busy.
Yeah.
I know. Well, let's see. What do we have? We have.
Do we remember when I was going back to work and I thought I wouldn't have enough time to knit as much anymore?
Well, that train time does help. I
was going to say, commuting knitting is for sure a thing. I'm just making sure I'm not knocking anything over underneath the table. We should talk about what our giveaway was last time.
Exactly. So last time, we asked for some new #opinion questions.
Yes.
And thank you guys. You gave us a lot of really good ones.
Yay.
Our prize is a skein of Tosh Vintage, which is a new yarn for us in the store.
Oh, that's what Chad's sweater's being knit on.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so this is perfect because we said we pick one of those questions to do today as our #opinion question. Yes. So our winner is Sarah Galarza, 7420, and her the thing she wanted his opinion on is what is one tip you would give a beginning knitter and one warning. Which I love that. We didn't even do random draw. Sarah was one of the first people to comment, and I saw it and I was like, that's our question. It's such a good one. Such a good one. So who wants to go first? Tip and warning.
Okay, so I think the tip that I would give to a beginning knitter would be to don't seek perfection. It's not going to be perfect the first time you do it, and that's okay. Yarn is not destroyed when you knit it.
Right.
You can unravel.
Yeah. It's not an egg. It's not fabric.
Exactly. It's not an egg. It's not fabric, which is why I'm like, I can't with fabric, because when you cut fabric, you can't put that back together.
No.
But with knitting, if you don't like what you made, if you don't like the swatch that you did, and it's full of holes, and you're like, I hate this, take it out. Rip it.
Mm-hmm.
Rip it.
Yep.
Because that's also very satisfying to do, especially when it goes comes undone.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
And actually, I think we probably should say too, like, knitter or crocheter. I think
crocheter.
What we're talking about probably
Either
going to apply to both. Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
And then a warning is if you're a left-handed knitter, do not do reverse knitting.
Yeah, I like that.
Do not.
That's a good one.
You are always, because if you set yourself up, so I'm a lefty, and I'm a pretty strong lefty, although I do use scissors with my right hand because my mom taught me early, also a lefty, use scissors with your right hand because you'll never find lefty scissors, as a general rule of thumb. And she's right. They're impossible to find. But in general, the standard is to write where you're working stitches off, to write patterns and, usage. You have stitches on your left hand needle, and you knit them off onto your right hand needle. And oftentimes righties will assume that lefties need to reverse everything that they do. You don't.
And actually, one key part is that knitting is a two-handed activity. Right?
Exactly.
That's what we always
knitting
tell
is
people.
Absolutely a two-handed activity. If you are a strong lefty, sure, hold your yarn in your left hand.
Continental knitting.
Yeah. Your left hand can do most of the work. I'm telling you right now, the reason it feels odd is not because it was designed by righties, but because it's a new skill.
Exactly.
And you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of frustration trying to read patterns and reverse them, and you make one lefts and you make one rights, and it's just easier to learn how to do it. And I'm not necessarily one to say like, oh, you have to knit the right way. There's no right way in knitting, but your life is easier if you're not reverse knitting. Now, is it handy to know how to do that later? Yeah, totally. Because then you can do the magic trick of be like, look at me, I'm gonna stack a knit flat, but with never flipping. So you can knit your stitches off the left needle onto the right needle, and then knit the stitches off the right needle onto the left needle. Magic trick. But start with the basic
trick. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, the analogy I often make, I played cello in orchestra for years. There are very, very few players who do play left-handed violin, viola, or cello. They are not orchestral players. Because just imagine if in an orchestra, your left-handed players
suddenly
playing over here,
on the other side. Yeah,
and some people are playing here. Right?
It does not work.
Bang scrolls together or whatever, or your bowing would be like total. Everybody has to do the same thing because you're all going together. But right-handed players and left-handed players of string instruments are taught the same way.
You
just learn how to use both hands efficiently.
Yeah, it's a two-handed activity.
Yeah. I love, I mean, I'm sure you were the one who I first heard that from, but I use it all the time. And for most people, lefties will come in, or even I was on the line for, the Brussels sprouts at Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
And somebody who was a crocheter, I believe, was talking about, they wanted to learn how to knit, but they're left-handed, blah, blah, blah. And I said, she was so stressed out. I said, I have to chime in here. But once I said that knitting's a two-handed activity, you literally could see the light bulb go off.
Nice,
it was but it's like, why not? Why not help somebody just think about it a different way?
Right.
And that's how Rhinebeck is too. It's like everyone chimes into everyone's conversations.
Everyone will be like, I overheard you.
And by the way, I love your sweater.
Yeah. But yeah, and also it's always going to feel awkward. It's always
you're
gonna
learning.
feel
It's
awkward
new.
at first.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
Work through it.
Yep. So my tip is pick a first real project that's going to be interesting for you. I also do advise, there are some people who need to do a really big thing to make a commitment to it.
Yeah.
I don't advise that for the average person. If you know that that's your personality, that you will not complete it unless it's something really big, then by all means. But for the average person, I recommend starting with something more bite-sized. Do a hat if you really want to do a hat. Even do a simple sweater. But the people, we get people every week that are like, I want to make a blanket for a king-size bed, and they've never knit before. It's like
a big project. It's a 3-year project.
I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure, honestly, because most people are not going to complete that. So
I won't complete that, and I've been knitting for years.
Yeah. No, so it's just like have realistic expectations about what, and you know what, even Kim, who works in the store here, she's been knitting for a long time. She, because she does work here and she just wants to expand her skills, she's learning crochet. So I keep asking her, what are you going to do? What's going to be your crochet project? She is going to do a square of a modular blanket. If she doesn't love the pattern once she's done that, she can make a pillow.
Yeah.
If she loves it, she can go on and make the other 15 squares and make a blanket out of it.
Yeah.
But I think something like pick a good project as your first project that's going to be something you want to wear or share, and make it fit your personality. If you need to do something huge, do something huge. But for 90% of people, maybe more, pick something more bite-sized so that you can finish it and have that sense of accomplishment. I mean, that's what we try to do in our classes.
Yeah. My college roommate, her second project ever was socks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she was like, okay, now I know the basics. Now I want to make socks. I'm like, great, let's make socks.
Guess what? I finished joining. So it's much more of an almost finished object now. Woohoo!
Oh, that's so pretty.
We are joined. We are a rectangle. So
I love the diagonal. I know you said that last week, Jen. I do love it.
nice. And it totally, I would not have done it. I'm so happy it is that way.
Yeah.
Though. It's just because
cool.
of the layout of the sweater. So
wait, what's your warning?
So what is my warning? Don't be too hard on yourself. Kind of like what you were saying. It's like, you're learning something new. You're not going to, 99% of people are not going to be perfect right away. Every now and then we have somebody in a class who either they did it as a child or they've done other crafts. Some people just who've done a lot of different crafts are just very good with hand-eye coordination and everything like that.
Yeah.
And, but go at your own pace. Don't try to set yourself up to say, oh, I need to do it the way they're doing it or whatever. Yeah. Just be gentle with yourself because you're learning something new.
Yeah, you don't need to compare yourself to the others.
Yeah.
Others.
Comparison is, in fact, the thief of joy.
That's true. What about you, Amanda?
I would say, so my advice, which I think I've mentioned here before, but it's probably like 50 episodes ago, is expect to knit at least 1,000 stitches before something feels normal. So when you're and I got this from a photography course where I was learning back button focus, which is a technique on a SLR camera. It lets you take pictures of objects in motion a lot faster, but it's a different technique, right? That you're not used to, the different order of hitting the buttons on your camera, and it feels very awkward at first. So the first 100 photos you take aren't going to look good. And it's a slow improvement up to photo number 1,000. So I sort of apply that to knitting as well. If you haven't knit 1,000 stitches, if you haven't purled 1,000 stitches, if you haven't done yarn overs, knit two togethers 1,000 times, right? It's not going to.
It's still going to feel a little awkward.
Natural. You're going to have to think about it more, right? If you haven't done 1,000 cables, which are things we do less frequently. I probably still haven't done 1,000 knit three togethers, and every time they're awkward.
You're like,
I know. Yeah, but if that was something that I had done regularly 1,000 times, then it wouldn't feel awkward anymore.
Yeah, so true.
Right?
And you'll get to 1,000 stitches real quick.
Yeah, but not instantly. If you're using chunky yarn, not in your first hat.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Right? If you're using thicker yarn, maybe not in your first 2 or 3 projects. Yeah. Which is also why I usually recommend practicing on swatches that you don't care about with yarn that's not expensive, that you intend to rip out, intend not to keep it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's my number 1. Any new technique, do it 1,000 times. Yeah. And you're just going with that mindset. It's not going to be good. And then my warning would be don't feel obligated to get all the things that goes along with that. One. Right? There are a lot of bright and shinies and yarn and knitting and crochet or whatever. We show a lot of those on our podcast because they are lovely. We enjoy them a lot. Whether that's, bags and all the tools and the needle sets or whatever. The most adorable stitch markers and all the tools that are actually extremely helpful. And as you go through your knitting journey, you'll accumulate some of those things. But none of them are absolutely necessary to crafting. I mean, you do need a pair of needles or a set of needles that work for your,
what's your
yarn
for your project.
Yeah.
But the other things can come with time. And your local yarn, there will always be things at your local yarn store.
Yeah.
That's what I tell folks all the time. Like, I don't keep a ton of, this is my stash, right? When I need something, I get it. Sometimes it goes away, but that's okay. There's going to be another bright and shiny.
Yeah. Something else.
Yeah. So, sometimes it feels overwhelming, I think, when you see, like, the accumulation of, like, oh my goodness, it's going to cost so much.
Right.
But
reality is you need yarn.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you need.
Some needles.
Tapestry needles.
Handy. Good to have.
Yes.
Yarn and
scissors you even have somewhere else probably.
You probably have scissors. You don't need the cute scissors yet.
But if you want the cute
scissors.
If you
want the cute scissors, it's okay to get them.
At some point, it becomes, like, efficient to have the
exactly.
scissors that you can put in your
like
bag.
This. Have your little notions pouch.
At some point, your tools become handy, but don't let that be a stumbling block to starting.
Right.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of new and shiny. Should we show some of our new and shiny?
Speaking of the useful tools that,
I know,
as you develop as a knitter, you will find extremely helpful.
But I really like that question. And then we
also
need to. What is our question this week?
So, we are at 4K. Yay! We did make it to 4K.
All right, like that. So we have had 4K.
Yay! 4K.
Yay! And we said we were going to have a special prize for our episode where we hit 4K. So what the winner of the from the next episode is going to win is your choice of a Leica Blush 5-inch tip set or Leica Blush 3.5-inch tip set. So if you're mainly a sweater knitter, blanket knitter, this is the one you're going to want. If you like to do hats and other things with small circumferences, that's the one you want. And also, my favorite thing to do with these is if I'm going away for the weekend or whatever, it's so tiny. Throw it in my bag. You can use the tips with any length cord and really make any needle you want. So I feel like that one's even more flexible.
If whoever wins the prize is an exclusive crocheter,
yes, we
have
can help
solutions
you out.
for you.
We do. That is
Leica also has crochet sets.
Very good point, Amanda. Thank you. Yep.
So our question
is, what tip would you give a beginning knitter or crocheter? Since we shared ours, but
warning.
Yeah,
I like the tip and the warning.
I like the tip in the morning, and if you only have a great tip, I think that's okay too.
Yeah,
and hopefully something unique that you thought about. Yeah.
What do you wish we said?
Tip or
that
warning?
We didn't say.
Yeah.
How would you have answered that question?
If you were sitting here, what would you say? Yes. Exactly. So that is our prize for the next episode.
That's
and thank you for getting us to 4K, guys.
Yay!
Continue to tell your friends if you like us. We appreciate that.
Yes.
And
we want to show a little bit of what we have new in store because we do have a new. When Amanda was talking about bright and shinies.
Yes.
So we do have
also extremely useful.
Oh, yeah, so useful. Twice Sheared Sheep is our new brand of notions that's in store. And so, for example, we have a snag-free row counter, which these are super handy. We'll have to bring them up because these are all like
we'll talk about a few of them. Then
we'll talk about a few.
Yeah,
and I think I was thinking of when I was talking about cabling and counting the rows between cables on like that might be actually extremely useful.
Exactly, and I have on my hat. I've been using. There are long ones and short ones, and since I don't like long dangles, I picked one of the short ones.
Oh,
but as long as you don't mind, like counting to 5, so you know that when you're on 2, it's actually 7.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like then you can use this as well, and that cabling is exactly what I thought of too, because I invariably lose track of what row I'm on for cables, and I do it either too soon or too late.
Right.
And then I have to go back,
weird.
and it annoys me.
Yeah.
So I will definitely use this the next time I do some cabling.
Yeah,
this one has a little teacup on it. It's so cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
So cute.
One of the other things that they have are storage tins, and the storage tins have dividers that you can divide them in, and you pop them into the storage tin so you can be like, this little section is for stitch markers and this little section is for whatever.
Or keep your different kinds of stitch markers sorted or whatever.
Yeah. Big ones, little babies.
And all of these are on our website now. This is our first order with them, but they do have such clever and fun tools that we're really like, you know what, time to dip our toe in.
Yeah.
And we'll see how these do, and then we will probably add some more items.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, I think the thing that pushed me over the edge to ordering was the cord locks.
Yeah.
Because if you're working on something with a lot of stitches, it can be hard to kind of always have your stitches like fed up really close to where your hand is. Like a big shawl, you know, for instance, you want, on a big shawl, you want to have that length of needle so your stitches aren't all jammed together. But on the other hand, when you do that, sometimes you're shoving things long, you know, way down the needle. So that addresses that issue.
You can also use these as stitch stoppers.
I was about to say, that would help my shoulder stitches not to come off.
Yes,
exactly.
That actually, totally would have.
Yep.
They also have these super cute little teardroppy, snag-free, or raindrops. Stitch markers. And then big raindrops. Nice, yes. I mean, like, I love these.
And most of their items are sized. So, for example, both those row counters and the cord locks and the stitch markers, you know, they talk about what size needle that they're good for.
Oh, yeah.
And it is really nice that, you know.
Because sometimes, especially if you're working on a fine gauge needle and you have a big stitch marker, it can flip over.
It's annoying.
Stitch.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts. So we also have super cute progress keepers, the sparkle bee on a little lobster clip. It's like so shiny. And then a really pretty right side, wrong side one. And then also a make one left, make one right.
Yes.
So we'll show these.
Just to help you keep on track with your increases and such.
Super cute. So this is twice sheared sheep. Say that 5 times fast.
There's our markers. This means I have to take pictures of these before Saturday, right?
Nope, I did.
You're the best.
I did it in groups, but for now, I think that's fine. It really is.
Yeah.
We'll see how we do.
So these are cute little notions. I mean, and this is the thing, like, notions are always fun. You don't always need them, but sometimes sometimes they solve a problem that you have been having, and it's like there are clever people out there who have already created a solution for you.
Seriously.
Exactly. Yeah, and definitely, it's not like you need them all, but
it can take frustration out of.
Yes.
And sometimes you just need a little pick-me-up that's not yours.
Right, and maybe it's like those blue sparkle dividers for those tins, which I'm obsessed with.
I knew you would love those.
I knew. I had so shiny.
Times when I picked those.
I love the tins.
Such a good idea. I love it. So those are new in store.
Yeah. So so check them out on the website. If they go really quickly, we'll definitely do a reorder soon.
Yeah.
And that's
love
it.
That.
And,
love it.
You know, as spring's coming in, we've got some new classes in the works. We've got some other new items coming in soon because we know
spring and summer yarns.
The Fullerton Vest will be released.
Yes.
Take the class.
All kinds of new things.
And check out our classes. And don't forget, we have that DK Weight sock class.
Yes, and also one thing somebody asked in email the other day was a comment on the website, on the podcast. A lot of people know and remember that, you do a Zoom class. Stacia also does a regular sweater Zoom class. And now, as we talked about in this episode, Kim's doing a Zoom version of the Fullerton class. If you are at a distance and you're going to do those are all color-coded in purple on the website.
Yeah.
To make it really easy to find the ones that you would, be able to join easily. So,
yep. So go to the menu for classes and events, and then the first thing on that is all classes and events.
It takes
After
you to
that,
the calendar.
It's private classes and virtual classes.
Yeah.
So all classes and events take you to the calendar where you see the color-coded events, classes, things like that.
So purple is Zoom classes.
And the Zoom classes you can join from anywhere.
And they're all recorded. You get unlimited access to the recordings. We don't turn them off after 6 months or a year. We have them in a secure place. Rats. There goes the yarn.
It took a dive.
There goes the yarn. But yes, you have unlimited access. So, even if you need to miss a class, you're not really missing it because you can catch up by watching the recording.
Yeah.
So, All right, so I think that is probably it for episode 123.
Good. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. Share with a friend if you're interested. And then we are Shop Yarnia everywhere. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and our website is shopyarnia.com.
Yay!
Thanks for watching. Bye.